as you bring up, purchasing stores from maybe owners who are looking to get out of the business, it kind of brings up the topic of relationships in the industry and developing relationships with owners
Yes.
who are currently in there, maybe looking to get out. How is it important is that to you, and how have you gone about that, developing those relationships?
Whenever I went to Kokomo with no arrogance or anything like that.
Mhm.
And one of the main store owners was Paul Hardacre. And I would say at one time he had 7 stores in Kokomo. And whenever we had met one of the first times, he told me I did a really good job. I built it too nice. And I would say, yeah, over time people do vandalize and stuff. But after year after about year 2, I was ready to acquire 1 or 2 of his locations and stuff, and then, that was key on, buying what I consider store number 4 in 2021 when he was finally ready. Because everybody has different personalities where everybody's likable or everybody's not likable. But within my markets, we've always gotten along.
Mhm.
There's not been a lot of attitude or, I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
the relationships that you build, it's like if they don't have anybody else looking to take over their business when they're ready to retire, they're looking for a buyer. And both of like Wade and Paul have had desires to sell to me when they were ready. And
Mhm.
it's, because it's their legacy one way or the other that is being taken over. Um, it's yeah, that's a long topic
That's
of legacy factors where, they don't want to see the business be bought by somebody and ran out of business because all they wanted to do is come in and collect quarters. They may
yeah.
have had it for 30 years and they wanted to live
Mhm.
on because they had a lot of sacrifice in it. And then also, whether it raised their kids and put their kids into college and stuff like that.
Right,
But
there's a lot of history, and I think legacy is the perfect term for it, and again, they don't wanna sell to just anyone, they wanna sell to someone they trust will, be a good caretaker and a good
yes.
steward, of that legacy, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's real quickly, it's like the Frawhiker family. They got started in Warsaw in like the ice business, and that would be Wade's grandparents. And then Wade's dad built several laundromats through the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
Between Wade's operation and his father's, there were, I believe, 17 locations in Indiana. Wade's father passed away in 21, and now Wade is, I've acquired 2, and I'm
mhm,
committed to buy another location. And it's
yeah,
like, but we've gotten along from day one. But there's also
mhm,
been a great relationship where Wade's father, Junior, was a mentor to my dad in the early 1980 or in the 1980s. So there's been a generational relationship. Wade was in business in Logansport in 2002, so the year before I got started, and we've always gotten along.
yeah,
And it's like now that he's downsizing, we're in more communication now than we were before. It was just in a way passing of the torch to somebody that they want to see carry their legacy on and stuff. And
yeah,
the
yeah,
Hardacre family was in the dairy business in the early 1900s, and Paul got into the business around 1985, and he sold his last store that he owned to me. The other locations were a lot more leased locations where he didn't have the opportunity to sell due to, not owning the real estate and stuff. But
yeah, yeah,
relationships are the key thing for my growth, and it's always been a friendly relationship. And it's been more important to have that because I'm 40, no children. So it's like my legacy is I have to find a buyer to it. And I hope that whenever that time comes, it's somebody that, will carry it on uh
yeah,
how we all desire, have them scale from say 6 locations to 12 or whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and run it as with a passion instead of just a side business because, they don't want to be hands-on. I would prefer a hands-on person. And that's
yeah,
also, I would say, Paul and Wade enjoyed
mhm.
that or respected that out of myself. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that's a great point, Travis, that you bring up, and probably something that people don't think about. It's maybe just the relationships is kind of an undervalued factor in the whole
yes,
thing.